Working with the big men, when did you kind of, or I asked Jay Moore the same question, but when did y'all kind of see that he was going to be able to play some at the five?
Really, I mean, you go back to his kind of his recruitment. You know, he's got that length and athleticism, and I think with him, it's more of a comfort level of finding what he's comfortable doing, and he's starting to kind of figure out what we do as a team. He's starting to fit in and fill his little kind of niche within the program. But I mean, like you look at his size, his length, he's 7'5" wingspan, and he can get off the ground, he can run the floor. So like, I think all the way back in the recruiting, he was looked at as a guy who could play both spots.
For Coach Anwar and Coach Days, you guys have obviously been involved in transfer classes here under Coach Jans, but what was kind of the goal going into this year? What was, I guess, the mindset of the type of players that y'all wanted to bring in here? What was kind of the goals there?
Really just to improve shooting. Obviously, we need to get better at that. And then guys that fit Coach Jans and our culture. Transfer portal is hard because you look at pieces of paper and you see numbers, but do they fit what we want to do and what Coach Jans is about? And so it's a lot more difficult than what people think.
Patrice, you want to piggyback off of that?
Yeah, I would say guys that fit Coach Jans, kids that are willing to buy in, that understand what the program is about, especially in today's world with you talking about NIL, but guys who want to come here and get better and want to be a part of winning. I think that's really, I think that's really key.
We'll say the coaches left with Sam.
Scott, Coach Jans talked about how Quincy Ballard's a type of center that you guys haven't really had in terms of playing style before. What does he just kind of bring or allow you guys to maybe do that you haven't been able to do maybe in the past?
Well, I mean, I think he's first and foremost he's a rim protector. Though we've had some really good bigs, I don't know that any of them we call shot blocker rim protector guys. So he can block shots and alter shots and make it tough around the basket for other teams. And then on the other end, we're one of the top 10 teams in the country percentage-wise as far as ball screens that we're in, and we haven't really had a lob threat off the ball screen. We've run plays to get people lobs, but not off of just ball screen, get downhill and be able to throw it up if they commit to the ball, and he can go get a lob. So I think he's going to help our ball screen because now that threat back there in the behind the defense is there, and it's going to allow Josh Hubbard and some of our other guards to be able to get down in the paint and either make last-second decision lob or get to the basket finish, and that'll help our ball screen a lot.
We'll go second row middle with Colin. Go ahead.
Coach Anwar, kind of adding on the last question to you in terms of finding players that fit this team's identity. You keep guards and guys in the front court who have played under Coach Jans the last 3-4 years, and the first couple of years it seemed like it was players in the front court. The last couple of years it was those players who kind of made the defensive identity. Players like Tolu, players like Cam. I guess now that you have the guards who have played the last few years, what is it like seeing them kind of lead teaching the younger guys what it's like to play for this program?
The older guys are really good. Sean Jones, Josh Hubbard have talked to our guys and helped them on what coach values, teach them what coach values, especially with defensive rotations and scouting reports and so forth that way. And one thing that coach values the most is who can guard the ball. And so they're all about working to become the best on-ball defenders that they can so they don't have to create help.
Go back to Paul, to the coach's left.
This could be for any one of y'all, whoever wants to answer it, but obviously Coach Jans has mentioned a lot this offseason how the defense kind of took a step back last year, especially on the perimeter. I know it's just an exhibition game, it's hard to draw from it, but kind of looked like on tape that this team is starting to buy in on the defensive end. You guys did some good things defensively. Do you see that this roster and this squad being able to kind of get that back to what the norm is under Coach Jans?
I think so. I think we upgraded with competitiveness. I think guys are really competing on the defensive end. And I think that we'll upgrade because they compete and they want to guard. And they know that's their calling card, and they know that's what they have to do to get in the game.
Anything to add, you guys, or you want to go to the next question?
Well, I mean, I agree with a lot of that. Is if you're going to play for Coach Jans, you got to have a defensive first mindset. You know, like that's where we're going to win games is with our defense and our rebounding, and then your offensive skills and all that help put games away. You know, like but we're a defensive and rebounding team. You know, that's where we make our bones at.
Go ahead, Sam.
Patrice, with the scrimmage the other day against Houston, from the coach's side, what were some of the things you guys liked that you saw, and some of the things maybe you guys see that you want to correct ahead of the season opener?
I really like the togetherness. Like I think the score was like 1-9, and you know, especially like early on in the season, you see guys kind of like, especially guys who hadn't really been in that type of situation before, they kind of get nervous, they get antsy. Sitting where I'm sitting there on the bench, you can hear a lot of those guys, you know, being positive with one another, you know, talking about what they see and things like that. So I think that was really encouraging, and especially going in a hostile environment, which is basically like a home game for them, for Houston, and playing against them. You know, guys didn't seem scared or intimidated. I think it was just like a boxing match and trying to figure that part out. But that was really encouraging, and the fact that we, you know, competed at a high level without having Jaden Epps and then not having Jabari out for most of the game. I think that was very encouraging for us. I think offensively, you know, we'll be fine. I think, you know, those are things that we can correct and clean up on defensive wise, you know, cleaning up assignments, but it was very encouraging.
Go back to the second row and Danny P in the middle.
Coach Anwar, we talked to Serge this morning, and he talked about how you were important in the recruiting process, getting him here. Just what did you see from him, bringing him in, and how has he fit in so far in the preseason?
Actually, Coach Jans one day asked me about some foreign players, and I sent him a couple of films about some foreign players, and he was the one he really liked. So credit Coach Jans. He really did. I had a relationship with the people that over in Serbia that had Serge, and we worked to get him to Mississippi State. But we both, Coach Jans and I both, in our staff, liked his athleticism and how fluid of an athlete he is, how he can get up and down the court. You don't need to run plays for him. He's going to get it on cuts and rebounds, and he would fit into what we needed at that role. He also played very, very well against the under-19 United States team, and I don't remember what FIBA tournament that was, but he was very impressive in that game. So he showed that he could play with athletes at this level.
Got time for a couple more for the assistant coaches. We'll go back to
Coach Anwar, since Coach Jans has been here, other than Josh Hubbard, there really hadn't been many true freshmen asked to make a big contribution or even be in the rotation. I know it's hard to project these things, but do you feel like this freshman class may be a little bit different than previous freshman classes when it comes to being in that rotation and contributing some?
I think so. I think that it all takes time. You know, it's when you come from AAU in high school, it's a brand new basketball game. It's not, it's a different game, and they've got to learn different things and figure things out so that they can help us. But if they're quick learners, which most of them are, hopefully they'll be able to get in and help us. But it's different, and that's the main thing that people don't understand. When you come from high school and AAU, it's a different game.
anything else for the assistant coaches? Good. All right. Thank you guys.